The tunnel didn't settle after the override broke. It tightened, like the entire structure had been waiting for them to reach this depth. The woman didn't slow. It knows we're past the safe zones. Nothing down here, he says. The air shifted, not a breeze, not pressure. A pull, subtle at first, then sharp enough to drag dust across the floor in a straight line. The creature wasn't behind him anymore. It was below. The metal under their hands vibrated, a low, hungry hum that didn't match any pattern they'd heard before. The woman's jaw tightened. It's changing form. Move. The floor buckled, not upward, not downward. It folded, like something underneath was pushing the metal into a shape it needed. A thin seam split open ahead of them. Not a hatch, not a tunnel, a mouth of space, forming itself in real time. The woman grabbed her arm. Don't let it pull you in. That's not a passage. That's it. The seam widened, metal bending like soft clay, revealing a darkness that didn't look like shadow. It looked active, like it was reaching. The pull intensified. Her fingers slipped. The woman yanked her back with both hands. Stay with me. It wants you first. The darkness surged upward. Not a creature. A shape. A new form. Something the tunnels had been hiding until now. The shape rising from the seam wasn't solid. It wavered, like the darkness itself was trying to decide what form would kill fastest. The woman didn't blink. Don't let it finish choosing. Move. The floor snapped downward, not collapsing, but bending, pulled by something underneath that wanted the metal to fold into a funnel. The pull hit her chest again, harder this time. Her ribs tightened like invisible hands were trying to drag her forward. The woman grabbed her arm and yanked her back. It's not pulling you, it's pulling your outline. The darkness surged upward, forming a long, vertical shape, no limbs, no face, just a column of absence that bent the metal around it like gravity had been rewritten. The woman shoved her sideways. Don't stand in front of it. It reads silhouettes. The column tilted toward them, and the metal floor followed, reshaping itself into a slope that forced their bodies into the angle the creature wanted. Her foot slid. The pull sharpened. The darkness stretched toward her like a shadow trying to attach itself. The woman slammed her shoulder into her. Stay off the slope. If it gets your full outline, it'll take you under. The column split, a vertical tear opening in the center, revealing nothing inside. Not darkness, not void, a direction, a place the creature wanted her to go. The woman's voice dropped. That's not a mouth. That's a destination. The pull intensified. The metal bent harder. The creature wanted her inside that direction. And it wasn't waiting. The seam didn't stay open. It expanded, the metal peeling back like it was being unmade, revealing a vertical slice of darkness that wasn't a void. It was a vector, a direction with intent. The pull hit her again, harder than before. Not on her body, on her outline, the shape she made in the world. The woman grabbed her shoulders and forced her flat against the wall. Don't let it get your full silhouette. That's how it takes you. The column of darkness tilted, and the metal floor followed, reshaping into a slope that aimed her straight at the opening. The creature wasn't dragging her. It was aiming her. Her heel slid. The pull sharpened. The darkness stretched toward her like a hand made of direction, not matter. The woman slammed her back against the metal. Stay off the vector. If it aligns you, you're gone. The column split wider, revealing a deeper slice, not a tunnel, not a room. A somewhere, a place the creature wanted her to occupy. The pull intensified. The metal bent harder. Her body leaned forward without her choosing to move. The woman yanked her sideways. It's claiming you. Move now. The darkness surged upward, fast, like a shadow trying to attach itself to her outline. The metal under her feet snapped into a perfect downward angle. The creature wasn't waiting anymore. It wanted her inside that direction. And it was done asking. The vector didn't widen this time. It snapped into a perfect vertical line, thin as a blade, bright as nothing. The pull hit her outline so hard her shadow peeled off the wall for a second before snapping back. The woman grabbed her shoulders and forced her flat. Don't let it separate your shadow. That's the last step. The line of darkness tilted toward her, and the metal floor obeyed, bending into a slope so steep her feet slid without her moving. The creature wasn't pulling her. It was repositioning the world to deliver her. Her heel lost traction. Her body pitched forward. The vector brightened, not light, not glow, but attention, focused entirely on her outline. The woman slammed her against the wall. Stay out of its sight. If it sees your full shape, you're gone. The vector split, a thin vertical tear opening into a deeper slice, revealing a place that didn't look like distance or depth. It looked like removal. The pull sharpened. Her ribs tightened. Her outline stretched toward the opening like her shape was being unzipped from her body. The woman yanked her sideways with both hands. Move now. It's taking you by your silhouette. The vector surged forward, fast, slicing the air where her outline had been a heartbeat earlier. The metal floor snapped into a perfect downward angle. The creature wasn't trying anymore. It was claiming, and it wanted her inside that direction. Now, the vector didn't retreat when it missed her outline. It corrected, snapping into a new angle so fast the air cracked around it. The woman didn't wait. Move. It's recalculating you. The metal floor obeyed the creature instantly, folding into a sharper slope that aimed her straight at the vertical tear. Her body pitched forward again, not from force, but because the world under her feet was being rewritten to deliver her. The woman slammed her shoulder into her, pinning her against the wall. Stay out of its geometry. The vector brightened, a thin, violent line, and her shadow peeled off the wall again, stretching toward the tear like it wanted to leave her behind. The woman grabbed her shadow with her hand, not touching it, but blocking the angle. Don't let it separate. That's the last step. The vector snapped wider, a vertical slice opening into a deeper nowhere. The pull hit her outline so hard her breath stuttered. The woman didn't hesitate. She drove her boot into the metal floor. The impact cracked the slope. The vector flickered. The pull broke. The creature tried to reform the angle, fast, desperate, but the metal under it collapsed, folding inward like a trapdoor slamming shut. The vector snapped out. Gone. The seam sealed itself, leaving only the warped metal and the echo of something that had almost taken her by her shape. The woman exhaled once. That's one. She turned. There are worse things ahead. The metal didn't settle after the vector collapsed. It shuddered, a deep vibration rolling through the tunnel like something enormous had just woken up beneath the floor. The woman didn't look relieved. Don't breathe yet. That wasn't its death. That was its signal. The walls tightened, not closing, not crushing, listening. The metal shifted in tiny, precise movements, like it was waiting for a command that hadn't arrived yet. Her pulse jumped. The tunnel reacted instantly, the floor dipping a fraction of an inch beneath her foot. The woman grabbed her arm. Stay still. It's reading your heartbeat. A low groan echoed through the metal, not mechanical, not alive. Something in between, something deeper than the vector creature, older, like the tunnels themselves were preparing to reshape for something far worse. The woman's voice dropped. That thing you just survived. It wasn't the predator. The floor rippled again, this time in a long, slow wave that traveled down the corridor like a warning. It was the alarm. A distant sound rose from the dark ahead, not a click, not a hum. A dragging, heavy and deliberate, like something massive was pulling itself through the metal. The woman turned her head slightly, listening. It heard you. The dragging grew louder, closer. The next creature wasn't subtle. It was coming. The dragging didn't echo anymore. It pressed, a low, crushing weight that made the metal under their hands dip like something enormous was settling its full mass onto the tunnel. The woman didn't whisper this time. Down, now. The floor behind them bowed inward, metal groaning like it was being bent by a force too heavy to belong in a corridor this narrow. Dust shook loose from the ceiling in a slow, steady rain. The dragging grew louder, not footsteps, not movement, mass, something pulling its own impossible weight through the metal like the tunnel was just fabric. The woman's jaw tightened. It's not walking, it's being carried by the structure. The walls trembled, not from impact, but from strain, like the metal was trying to hold itself together around something that didn't fit inside the world. Her pulse jumped. The tunnel reacted instantly, the floor dipping again beneath her foot. The woman grabbed her arm. Don't let it feel your heartbeat. That's how it chooses who it crushes first. The dragging stopped. Silence. Then the metal behind them collapsed inward, not breaking, not folding, sinking, like something unimaginably heavy had just settled its full weight onto the corridor. The woman didn't turn. Don't look. It reacts to attention. The air thickened. Her ribs tightened. The pressure behind them grew so dense it felt like the tunnel was filling with a presence too large to stand upright. The woman leaned close. It's here. A deep, slow exhale rolled through the metal, not breath, not wind. Weight, the kind that decides what breaks first. The weight behind them didn't stay still. It pressed forward, and the metal floor sank under it like the entire corridor was being forced to kneel. The woman didn't whisper this time. Don't move. It crushes anything that shifts. The pressure grew so dense the air felt thick enough to choke on. Her ribs strained. Her knees buckled. The tunnel groaned like it was about to tear itself apart just to get away from whatever was entering it. The dragging started again, slower now, heavier, like the creature was pulling a mass the tunnel wasn't built to carry. The metal behind them dented inward, a deep, perfect curve forming in the floor as if something enormous had settled its full weight onto a single point. The woman's hand tightened on her arm. Don't look back. It reacts to acknowledgement. The pressure increased. Her spine bowed. The wall behind her vibrated like it was being crushed from the outside by something too large to fit in any direction. A low, grinding sound rolled through the corridor, not breath, not movement. Compression. The creature wasn't walking. It was forcing the tunnel to reshape around its mass, bending metal like wet paper. The woman leaned close, voice razor thin. If it reaches us, it won't grab. It won't pull. It'll just put its weight on you. The floor behind them collapsed another inch, metal screaming under the strain. The creature was almost on them, and the tunnel was starting to fail. The pressure didn't build this time. It dropped, a sudden, violent shift that made the entire corridor sag like the tunnel had just been punched from the outside by something too heavy to exist. The woman didn't breathe. Stay down. It's testing the structure. The metal behind them buckled, a deep concave dent forming in the floor as if the creature had placed its full weight on a single point. The dent spread, slow, deliberate, like the tunnel was being crushed by a descending ceiling they couldn't see. Her spine bowed under the pressure. Her ribs strained. The air felt thick enough to drown in. The dragging started again, not forward, not backward. Down. The creature was lowering itself, compressing the space until the tunnel had no choice but to reshape around it. The woman's voice was barely a sound. It's flattening the corridor. Don't stand. Don't even think about standing. The walls trembled, metal rippling like fabric under a giant's hand. A long, low groan rolled through the structure, not from the creature, but from the tunnel itself, begging for relief. Her pulse jumped. The floor reacted instantly, dipping another inch beneath her. The woman grabbed her arm. Control your heartbeat. If it feels panic, it'll drop its full weight. The pressure surged. The ceiling above them bowed downward, dust raining in a steady stream as the metal strained to hold its shape. The creature wasn't approaching. It was descending, forcing the world to compress around its mass. The woman leaned close, voice razor thin. If it reaches the floor, everything in this corridor goes flat. The metal screamed. The ceiling dropped another inch. The creature was almost on them, and the tunnel was seconds from giving out. The ceiling didn't bow this time. It dropped, a sudden, violent shift that sent a shockwave through the metal, dust exploding downward in a choking cloud. The woman didn't flinch. Stay flat. If you stand, it'll crush you first. The pressure behind them surged, not a push, not a pull. A descent, like something impossibly massive was lowering itself into the corridor inch by inch. The floor sank under the weight, metal bending into a deep curve that spread toward them like a slow, deliberate collapse. Her ribs compressed, her breath thinned, the air felt like it was being squeezed out of the tunnel. The dragging sound returned, not movement, but the metal itself being forced to slide under the creature's mass. The woman's hand tightened on her arm. It's not walking, it's settling. The tunnel can't hold it. The walls trembled, rippling like fabric under strain. A long, low groan rolled through the structure, the sound of metal begging for relief. Her pulse spiked. The floor reacted instantly, dipping another inch beneath her. The woman snapped her fingers in front of her face. Control it. If it feels panic, it'll drop its full weight. The ceiling dropped again, a full, brutal inch, dust raining in a steady stream. The pressure intensified until her spine bowed involuntarily. The woman leaned close, voice thin and sharp. It's right above us. A deep, grinding exhale rolled through the metal, not breath, not wind. Mass, the kind that doesn't move around obstacles. The kind that removes them. The ceiling creaked, the floor buckled. The creature was lowering itself into the corridor, and the tunnel was seconds from collapsing under it. The ceiling didn't groan this time. It snapped, a sharp metallic crack that shot through the corridor like a gunshot. Dust exploded downward in a choking sheet. The woman shoved her flat to the floor. Don't lift your head. It's lowering itself. The pressure behind them surged, not a wave, not a pulse. A drop, sudden and absolute, like the creature had just shifted its full weight onto the tunnel. The floor collapsed another inch, metal bending into a deep bowl that spread toward them in slow, brutal ripples. Her ribs compressed, her breath thinned, her spine bowed under a force that felt like gravity had been rewritten just for them. The dragging sound returned, not movement, but the metal being forced to slide under the creature's mass, like the tunnel was being peeled open from the inside. The woman's hand clamped onto her arm. Don't react. If it feels resistance, it'll finish the collapse. The ceiling above them dropped again, a violent jolt that sent a shower of debris across their backs. The walls trembled, rippling like fabric under strain. A deep, grinding exhale rolled through the metal, not breath, not voice. Wait, the kind that doesn't step around obstacles. The kind that erases them. The floor buckled, the ceiling bowed, the tunnel screamed under the pressure. The woman leaned close, voice thin and sharp. It's not trying to crush the corridor. A beat, it's trying to crush us. The ceiling dropped another inch. The creature was fully in the tunnel now, and the structure was seconds from giving out. The ceiling didn't drop this time. It gave, a full structural failure that sent a violent shock through the corridor. Metal screamed, bending in a single catastrophic ripple that rolled straight toward them. The woman shoved her flat to the floor. Don't lift your head. It's coming down. The pressure behind them surged, not a pulse, not a wave. A slam, like the creature had dropped its entire mass at once. The floor collapsed, metal folding inward like a crushed can. The dip spread toward them in a fast, brutal curve. Her ribs compressed, her breath vanished, her spine bowed under a force that felt like the world was trying to flatten her into the metal. The dragging sound returned, louder, deeper, the tunnel being forced to slide under the creature's weight as it descended. The woman's hand clamped onto her arm. Don't react. If it feels resistance, it'll finish the collapse. The ceiling above them split, a jagged tear opening as the metal bent under the impossible load. Dust poured down in a suffocating sheet. The walls trembled, rippling like fabric under a giant's hand. A deep, grinding exhale rolled through the corridor, not breath. Compression, the kind that doesn't stop until everything under it is flat. The floor buckled again. The ceiling bowed lower. The tunnel screamed under the pressure. The woman leaned close, voice razor thin. It's dropping its full weight. The ceiling dropped another inch. The floor rose to meet it. The space between them narrowed. The creature was forcing the corridor to close. And they were trapped inside the collapse. The ceiling didn't drop this time. It lunged, slamming downward in a single, brutal motion that flattened the air out of the corridor. The metal floor surged upward at the same time, the two surfaces racing to crush everything between them. The woman didn't hesitate. Roll, now. She grabbed her arm and yanked her sideways just as the ceiling and floor collided where they'd been lying a heartbeat earlier. The impact shook the entire tunnel, a deafening metallic roar that felt like the world was folding in on itself. The pressure didn't stop. It followed, the collapse spreading down the corridor like a closing jaw. The woman shoved her forward. Crawl, don't stand, don't stop. The floor buckled behind them, rising in a violent wave. The ceiling dropped to meet it, crushing the space into a narrowing wedge that chased them like a slow, unstoppable machine. Her elbows scraped metal, her breath tore in her throat. The tunnel shrank around them, the collapse gaining speed. The woman's voice cut through the grinding metal. Left, there's a gap. A thin opening appeared in the wall, not a door, not a hatch. A fault, created by the pressure, barely wide enough for a body. The woman shoved her toward it. Go, don't think. She slid through the gap just as the ceiling slammed down behind her, sealing the corridor in a single, final crush. Silence. Dust drifted in slow, lazy spirals. The woman crawled through after her, pulling herself into the narrow space. She didn't look back. That's two. She wiped metal dust from her hands. And the next one won't wait.